everybody, and welcome back. We've got another set of patch notes coming in today. Obviously, for the April Fool's patch notes, it is listed as the totally normal patch notes for Total Normal Watch. What was it they said last year? They called it like the super serious notes or something, but either way, April Fool's is here, which normally is one of the, surprisingly, the bigger changes throughout the year, just because they had so many goofy things to it that make the game feel different. But with all the perks and Stadium coming up and everything else this year, this actually might be some of the smaller ones, unless they just go completely overboard, which I'm fine with. I love the chaos, but let's see what we got. Everything is normal. There's nothing to worry about here. Everything is perfectly normal. The development team has been dealing with an ant problem at their desks for the last few weeks and somehow caused these changes to take place somewhere in the game, but we think we fixed it, maybe. Don't look at the game mode in the arcade. Okay. We're not sure where it came from. We'll try to get it taken down, but we're not able to update that until April 14th. Wait a minute. So does that mean the April Fool's things are only in arcade this year? That's weird. Until we do, we've put up some challenges to distract you with, and you can earn some new cosmetics, including the Rainy Ducky Orisa Legendary skin. Thanks, and you may now resume your totally normal Overwatch 2 experience. Very normal hero updates. Perks are disabled as we address an issue with certain member of the development team yelling perks every time they say the word perks in our meetings. Okay, so that actually makes sense, not to add a bunch of crazy April Fool's changes on top of the perks. So good decision there. Tanks. Oh wow, there's a lot on Diva. Mech size reduced by 50%. So this is getting the Malga treatment from last year. Mech base health reduced from 375 to 25. Mech armor health is unchanged. The baby Diva is also reduced by 50%. And health reduced from 175 to 25. So Diva is one shot, but going to be hard to hit. That's going to be interesting. The rate of fire is increased by 100%. Damage reduced by 50%. Light gun. So the baby Diva gun, rate of fire is also doubled. Reload speed increased. Damage reduced. Press interact during self-destruct to freeze the mech in place. Ooh. I actually like that as a regular change instead of troll. Being able to launch the Diva bomb and then stop it in place. That's actually a change I wouldn't mind seeing in the main game. But yeah, Diva is going to be useless during the April Fools, which will make a lot of people happy since a lot of people are still crying for Diva to be nerfed. Doomfist also has a bunch. Hand cannon removed from primary fire? What? Quick melee replaces hand cannon as the primary fire, so Doomfist just straight up can't shoot. He can only punch. Melee speed increased by 50%. Melee damage increased by 50%. Doomfist now lunges towards enemies when he melees. Rocket Punch. Melee damage now builds Rocket Punch charge meter. Charge meter no longer decays. Charge time reduced by 50%. Cooldown decreased by 1 second on Seismic Slam. Oh my god. I'm trying to remember. Was Doom's melee regular damage, or was it like Torp Hammer where it had bonus damage? I don't remember. And that's kind of what this is going to hinge on whether or not this is broken or useless. Because if he has this many buffs to his quick melee and it did more than regular damage, he's going to be destroying people. I think it was regular damage, though, so this will kind of balance out. But the Doom 1 tricks will be unstoppable. But anyone who's just good or decent with Doomfist would be better off playing someone else. So at least we won't see too many Doomfists, but the ones we do see will likely destroy us. That's interesting. Hazard. Jagged Wall knockback increased by 400%. The wall is now a Lucio boop. Jagged Wall cooldown decreased from 12 to 8. Useless, but gonna have cause so much chaos. I love that one. Junker Queen. Jagged Blade can no longer be recalled with secondary fire. Why? Junker Queen flies towards Gracie while secondary fire is held. So it's a modified version of the last one. Instead of just instant pulling you, you now only go as far as you hold it. Okay, so just same as last year, but you have more control over it. Command and Shout no longer affects allies. Overhealth increased by 50%. And bonus move speed was doubled. That's going to make... Okay, so we have ziplining Junker Queen with a boosted Command and Shout that only does herself. You have full dive Junker Queen now. Malga's got a bunch. While airborne... Why does he have an airborne ability? While airborne and firing both chain guns at the same time, Malga is pushed backwards in the direction he is aiming. Pushed backwards in the direction he is aiming. So I'm assuming that means he'll be pushed away from the direction he's aiming. That's worded very poorly, but that's the only thing that would make sense, is that he's just not backing himself. So you'll have a Malga flying around with like infinite coach gun. That's kind of cool. Incendiary gun, ammo reduced, reload speed increased. Same on the other one, ammo reduced and increased. Overrun can now be used during cage fight. Cage tether. Tether is now centered on Malga and follows him and gives infinite ammo for the duration. I mean, it's going to depend on how far he is pushed back by this. Because if it's not something you can burst and you do have to hold it down, he's going to use all of his ammo just for mobility, which will make this useless. But again, it's April Fool's, so nobody cares. Orisa. Hanzo can press... Oh, please... Yes! We've been asking for this for years just because of the voice line. Hanzo can now ride Orisa into battle. Javelin spin now pulls enemies towards Orisa. I don't care about that. I mean, heck, I was on the forums this morning if people were talking about what they wanted from this, and that's specifically what I asked for, so that's nice. It's going to be useless. I mean, Hanzo's going to be a sitting duck while riding Orisa, but it is funny. Ramatra. Ravenous Vortex now reverses gravities of all enemies inside. I mean, sure. Reinhardt in charge, cooldown reduced in half. Turn speed increased. And charge lasts infinitely until you hit a wall. Reinhardt's a literal rocket. 3.5 second charge with better turning control, and you never run out of fuel. Yeah, we're going to be seeing nothing but Reinhardt's through this change. I need to figure out if it's in the regular mode like it normally is. I mean, a regular quick play like it normally is, or if it's only in the arcade mode they mentioned, because that wouldn't make sense. But that's insane. Reinhardt is going to be a blast, literally. Roadhog. Chainhook now throws 3 hooks at once, so sure, why not? Kinetic Grasp on Sigma. Deflects projectiles instead of absorbing them. And you can fly while using it. So you have a flying Sigma with a Genji deflect. Nice. Winston, jump pack, press crouch to do a body slam and deal more damage while coming down during jump pack. I mean, I'd be fine with that being a normal thing. That's not worthy of being an April Fool's. That's not crazy enough. Wrecking Ball, size reduced. On Ball, that's going to be a nightmare. Ball gains overhealth based on his size. So do you have a way to change size? Roll damaging enemies. Okay, damage enemies during rolling increases Wrecking Ball size. Pile driver, area of effect increases based on... Okay, so you start off as a small Wrecking Ball, and every time you run into something, you get bigger, stronger, and gain more health. Is it capped at his regular size, or does it keep going up infinitely? Because if it keeps going up infinitely, that's literally going to snowball out of control. Zarya. Primary fire now ricochets off enemy heroes and the environment? What? The beam now ricochets. I can kind of understand it on the environment, just to have like the Hanzo Storm Arrow bounce, but it's doing it off of enemies too, so it's going to do the damage and ricochet and possibly hit another enemy. So will it then reflect off the second one as well? That's another one that's going to have to be tested, but that could be insane. Ash, Coach Gun, increased knockback on enemy heroes and briefly reduces their air control. Sure. Bob no longer shoots. What? Bob now repeatedly dashes towards the nearest enemy hero and attempts to knock them into the air. So ultimate cost is reduced by 70%, because now all Bob is a nuisance that runs around throwing people into the air. That's awesome. Bastion. Tactical grenade now spawns an explosive training bot. Configuration artillery impact spawn explosive training bots. Okay. That's going to depend entirely on how the AI works. There's so many on here that I just can't even picture. I mean, again, this is another one that could be either broken or useless, but I won't know till I try it. Cassidy, Peacekeeper, primary and secondary fire both ricochet 3 times. Ricocheted bullets deal increased damage. So if they're just like in a tunnel or a hallway, you are better off just randomly shooting the walls than waiting for them to peak. That's... Oh, wow. So Route 66, that's going to be overpowered in certain areas. King's Row is going to have a lot of areas that can be abused. Most of the Flashpoint maps, not really. There's several payload maps where that's going to be broken. Oh, Echo's got a bunch. Tri-Shot, oh my god. Tri-Shot, the main primary fire, now fires sticky bombs. At least the damage is reduced. And sticky bombs now fire volley. Okay, so it's just switched them. That's... Okay. Flight is now always active. Activate flight is now a dash. Focusing beam now does extra damage to enemies above half health. So does it still do the extra damage to them below half health also? Or was it just flipped? I'm going to assume it's just flipped. Okay. Genji once again can occasionally heal himself when requesting healing. Don't abuse this, you've been warned. Uh-oh. Developer comments, Genji can once again spam the annoying emote to heal himself, though there might be negative consequences this time. So what happens if you do the voice line too many times? Do you just explode? Hanzo. Stormbow, fully charged arrows ricochet twice. There's a lot of ricochet abilities this time. Combine that with spawning bots and other stuff, this is going to be literal chaos. So they might have put it just in the arcade. Because this is... I'm not even halfway through, and this already sounds way more broken than previous years. Storm arrow, each arrow ricochets up to 5 times. Wall climb... Press reload to attach yourself to the wall. Samurai Kishu, new passive. Okay, so this is just the Orisa. Okay, so he's not going to just explode because he gets damage reduction while riding. Orisa controls the movement. Feel 20% cooler. I mean, yeah. Junkrat can now place 5 mines at once with reduced damage. Oh my god, Junkrat's going to be... I don't even know who's the best winner on this, and we're not even halfway through. It's going to be hell on earth in some of these games for anybody trying to play normally. Riptire. Junkrat becomes invisible and untargetable while using Riptire. I'm fine with that. You teleport to it when it explodes. Okay, so this is another one that shouldn't even be an April Fool's. I have said multiple times that one of the best changes they could make to Riptire would just be to have Junkrat ride it. And that would accomplish everything that's here. They wouldn't be able to target him while he's AFK. He would end up where the tire ends. And if the tire dies, he would die with it. So this is literally the change I've been wanting to normal Junkrat for a while now. It's just instead of being invisible, I said just let him ride it. And it would accomplish all the same things. May, Cryo Freeze now creates Miniature Blizzard. Isn't that her perk already? I mean, I know the perks aren't in here, but I'm pretty sure that's just the regular perk. It just has a Miniature Blizzard when she's ice blocked. Oh, but she can move in Cryo Freeze now. Okay. Moira has been moved to the damage roll. Okay, what did they say on this? Fixed a bug where Moira was classified as a support hero and removed any unintended healing. Thank you for your patience as we resolve this 7-year-old issue that has prevented Moira mains from reaching their ultimate damage potential. Move to the damage roll. Now has damage roll passive. No longer has the support passive. Biotic Grasp no longer heals, instead deals damage. Healing Orb removed. Coalescence now only deals damage. My only concern on that is going to be the Coalescence, which was half damage, half heals. So is it going to be double the normal amount of damage to make up for that? Would be my only question. Farah. Direct hits deal increased damage to airborne enemies. That's fine. Jet Dash pulls people with it. Jump Jet pulls people with it. So she, depending on the pull, she could actually abduct people. That's kind of cool. Reaper. Reaper can no longer reload and drops his shotguns on the ground when empty. Dropped shotguns must be picked up to restore ammo. Movement speed increased by 25% when out of ammo. Picking up shotguns increases attack speed for a short duration. Note, it's hard to melee enemies without your shotguns. Okay, so Reaper's just nerfed into the ground on this. Sojourn. Max rail charge is now 300%. Jesus Christ. Wait, rain gun. Is that just a typo? Yeah, that's just a typo because it's still railgun here. Railgun secondary fire deals increased damage at above 100% charge. Railgun secondary fire knocks back Sojourn if fired at above 100%. So nothing about this has any downside. It's straight up buffing Sojourn across the board, which is already one of, if not the main character people have been crying to get nerfed. So this one's actually going to piss people off. Okay. Soldier. Soldier can no longer see allied or enemy health bars, including his own. Passive healing starts faster and heals faster. So his run speed is doubled, but you never know what your health is. Sure. Sombra. Hacking enemies grants a stacking buff with a maximum of 10 of movement speed and magazine size. Stacks are lost on death. Sure. Photon projector. Primary fire now does damage based on the maximum health. But what's the percentage? I mean, are we talking 10, 20% where she'd be useless? Or are we talking like 50, 60% where she's going to just melt the tanks? Secondary fire charge time reduced. Sentry turret health increased. Cooldown reduced. Projectile speed increased. Can now stick to allies. So that's the one Torbjorn got last year where you can just stick her turrets on your allies. But they should have put the percentage in here on how much damage she's going to do. That's... I'm going to assume that was an oversight because there's no reason that shouldn't be mentioned here. Torbjorn, deploy turret. Turret can now be overhealed by Forge Hammer. When overhealed, turret gains increased size, damage, and health. So you basically just have the level 3 turret mechanic again where you can upgrade your turret. It just doesn't have the rockets. That's a strange change. Blink. Blinking while crouching collides with enemies. Colliding with enemies deals damage and knocks them back. Sure. Burrow can now fly while burrowed? Emerge can be charged longer for a stronger effect. I don't even know how that one would work. Can fly while burrowed. So when you're underground, if you just hold spacebar, do you come out of the ground but keep the animation? I don't know what that means. Widowmaker. Grappling hook can now hit enemy heroes, dealing damage and granting overhealth. So she has like a siphon from the grappling hook? That's kind of cool. First successful melee attack after hitting a hero with a grappling hook deals extra damage. Sure. So I'm assuming that means it actually pulls her to them. It doesn't just hit them. Otherwise, the melee one would be pointless. There's a lot of text on the developer comment. Let's read that first. Ana, we've heard feedback from Ana players that their teammates ignore them when they call out that they are reloading and go and feed into the enemies anyway. Uh-oh. Sorry. That could be scary. We're hoping this change makes for good practice for them to start paying more attention to their support teammates. Magazine size reduced from 15 to 1, and damage and healing was doubled. She's got one bullet in the chamber. Yeah, I will not be playing Ana during this. Oop. Baptiste, Exo Boots, press crouch while airborne to stomp. Sure, that's fine. Brig, no shield bash. Shield throw. Shield throw will toss Brig's shield, which stuns and bounces between enemies. Holy shit. Another one I'm going to have to see, because it's going to depend on how far you can throw it and how far it bounces. But if it has a decent range and you can just throw it at a group of enemies, rally during rally shield can hit more enemies. Well, yeah, the shield will be bigger. Of course it can hit more enemies. That's a stupid one. That's not even a change. That's just common sense. But how do you get the shield back? Does it respawn in your inventory, kind of? Or do you have to, like, go pick it up? Or is it just gone until you die? So many questions. Iari, solar rifle. Primary fire now heals allies and does not deal damage. Secondary fire now damages and not... Okay, so they swapped the primary and secondary. Again, this is one that shouldn't even be in the April Fool's patch. This is what a lot of people have been asking for. Because one of the biggest bottlenecks is on Iari is that her only benefit is the pylon because she has no heals at range. And this solves that. I mean, secondary fire range increased, so the beam for doing damage is longer, but that's fine. It basically is Zarya beam now. But having her primary be her healing should have been a thing already. That should be her normal kit. Juno, quick melee, knockback increased. Orbital ray reverses gravities on allies and enemies inside. Okay, sure. Kiriko, Swift Step now grants overhealth and increased attack speed, but she can no longer choose her target. So you just randomly get teleported to any person in range. That could be fun. I mean, it's going to depend on your team comp and the map, but that could actually be fun. Lifeweaver, Thorn Volley, projectiles now home in on enemies, so it's essentially just going to be the hazard block spikes now. Projectiles per shot reduced, rate of fire reduced, speed reduced. When enough of them hit, they explode for 160. Okay, so this is basically just going to be the hazard block mechanic with an extra free 160 damage for no reason. So Lifeweaver is straight up going to be a DPS during this. Lucio mains increased move, reload, and attack speed while wall riding. Buffs from wall ride persist for several seconds after touching the ground. Sure. Blaster now fires random projectiles. So I'm assuming that would have those projectiles' original damage. So, I mean, like, Mercy could follow... randomly fire a fully charged Hanzo arrow and one-shot somebody. Is that what I'm understanding? I might have to play Mercy during this. Zenyatta. Orb of Destruction now fires sticky googly eyes instead of orbs. Damage is reduced and attack speed is increased. I mean, he has a Discord orb. That reduction's not going to affect much. I mean, we basically just gave him a machine gun. Zenyatta's going to be overpowered in this. On a positive note, we did fix a few other bugs. Yes, these are real. Fixed an issue preventing players from using perks in the 6v6 Maximum 2 open queue and will now be played for the remainder of the season. Fixed an issue with perks being selected during overtime. Fixed an issue with Zarya's kit in the Hero Mastery having re-enabled the Hero Mastery courses. Okay. Well, as always, it's going to be Chaos. Probably my favorite event of the year because of that. But there's definitely some clear winners and losers, both on being fun and on being strong. Sojourn, I don't understand why they buffed her on this. I mean, I know it's April Fool's and it's just going to be for Chaos, but she is going to be the clear best DPS by far in the game. There's no reason for that. So any match that people are trying to win instead of have fun, Sojourn's going to be an auto pick every game. Mercy's going to be fun. Reinhardt is going to be a blast. I am loving that. Infinite charge, basically. Lifeweaver is going to be a nuisance. I'm not sure how the Brig one's going to work. We won't see many Anas, which will be unusual. Probably won't see any Reapers. Junkrat. I don't know how I feel about the mines. I feel like I'm going to end up getting myself killed more than anything, just bouncing around with them. I love the Hanzo finally riding Orisa thing. We've been asking for that every April Fool's. I mean, the rest of them are just kind of here or there. I mean, all of them are funny in one way or another. The only ones that just really stand out to me is Reinhardt, Junker Queen. I mean, not Reinhardt. I mean, not Junker Queen. Reinhardt, Sojourn, Junkrat, and Mercy are the main ones that have caught my attention. And then the Bastion, I'm just going to have to see how the bots work. But yeah, there's your April Fool's patch notes. I hope everybody enjoys them because it's only here for a couple weeks, but it's the most chaotic event of the year by far, and I love it. Y'all have a good one.